Haven't heard that in a long time. What could we be playing? Oh, gave it away already. Another fantastic effort by the team at Sumo Digital. Basically, if you see one of their games, it's safe to pick it up. In my experience with them, they've always done stellar work. And case in point here. And Vise, I have not unlocked you yet, but as soon as I do, you'll probably be my main character. Until then, I'm trying to still find the one who fits like a glove for this game, which, if you haven't figured out by now, is, what do they call it? Sega All-Stars Racing Transform, or Sonic and Sega. It's the clunkiest title ever, but what's in the name? Because this is a really, really good game. I don't want to hear nothing about it being a Mario Kart clone. If you actually play this game, you'll see that it has a personality and a life of its own. It does its own thing. It's more akin to Sega arcade games, especially Outrun with the drifting mechanic. It's not to say you don't drift in Mario Kart, but the way it's handled here, it feels very Sega. And again, Sega are pioneers of the racing genre anyway, going back to their old arcade games, so, you know, you gotta give them credit. You know? Sega as a company overall has been behind a lot of innovation. They've been the pioneers behind a lot of changes in games, and they don't always get the credit for that, so a little respect, please. Just because they're not making systems anymore doesn't mean that they're inconsequential. And I apologize if I sound a little off, my nose is very stuffed up. Unfortunately, I think I've developed a lactose intolerance, which is very sad. I think I'm going to have to give up a lot of things that I like to eat, so this is the result of that. But regardless, we're going to play the game, and we're going to have a good time as I continue to unlock things I haven't gotten very far at all. I actually picked up this game on Steam in January of this year, but I've played it maybe 2 or 3 times, so I gotta catch up. That's just how nuts life's been. There's just so much going on, and any games that I'm not featuring on my channel specifically, I've had very little time to spend playing them. So I would like to work on that. But again, I mean, I'm making it sound like it's a serious deal. It's games, you know? Take it or leave it. It's not necessary, but it's fun. And I want to skip this, but I mean, come on. It's gorgeous. I can't do it. Look at this. I believe this game is several years old now, but look at it. Looks like it could have just come out yesterday. I'm a believer now. I see what people were talking about all those years. PC is definitely the way to go when you can. I'm going to buy all my games on PC when I can. Though, I have to admit, the thing that's most appealing about the Switch, which I don't have, and wasn't planning on buying, but who knows, the portability. Having a powerful console that you can take at a moment's notice without losing your current progress, that is the biggest deal about that system, and I think why it's so big. I mean, think about it, any game that's cross-platform, if you have the option, why not buy the Switch version? It makes the most sense to me. Unless you're somebody who doesn't really go out or take your games like that anyway, if you don't travel, if you tend to play at home all the time, then it doesn't matter as much. If you're all about that big setup, the big rig, but otherwise, it's very appealing. And for somebody who's on the go as much as me, yeah, got me thinking about it. If I had a Switch, I would definitely pick up, well, I'll just throw it out there. I'd pick up Sonic Mania on the Switch instead of PC. I'm really trying to avoid talking about that game before it's out because this isn't Sonic Mania, but I'm secretly very excited about that game. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you've probably picked up subtle clues to that effect. But I know I'm not the only one. I mean, it's the game that a lot of us never thought we'd see. So why not be excited? It might not happen again, so let's just try to enjoy the moment. And back to this game. I'm trying to bait Rio because I like his character so much, but his vehicle is not really working out for me. I'm still getting used to the controls. There are a lot of little tricks and little nuances to help you get that edge. Like there's a trick, if you hit the accelerator button at the right time during the start, you can get some boost, kind of pull ahead early on. Still figuring that out. And it's not too bad though. Again, like Outrun, it's all about drifting here. And I'm still learning the stunts. I just found out about those yesterday because I didn't know how to control them. But then I realized, hey, the game has a digital manual. So you know what I did? I actually read. Aren't you proud of me? I looked at the manual and saw how to do those. And what a world of difference. Love that rear view. When I get really good at the game, I'm probably going to leave it on that most of the time, just when I want to show off. I'm not there yet, though. Easy is easy. I can place first without too much trouble, but if I take it up to medium or hard, then I got some work. Now, you know what's funny? The next character I tried to use after Rio was Sonic. Now, you know what? They should actually have a skin or have classic Sonic as a separate character, because nowadays they pretty much treat him as a separate entity anyway. So they might as well just go all out and just have him his own racer, his own look, his own style. Because I would definitely have made classic Sonic anyway. Not such a big fan of modern Sonic, but I apologize, I'm one of those people. I don't get on his case, but it just doesn't appeal to me. But I just tried using Sonic a couple times, and instantly I did so much better with him placing first on medium and hard without even really, well, not without trying, but without multiple tries like with Rio. So I guess his stats just match my style of playing, so I was reluctant to use him. Partly because I'm an underdog by nature, I always go for the little guy, or the overlooked guy. This is obviously Sonic's game, or he's the one pushing it. I didn't want to favor him, but I do really well with him, so he might become my main character. But I still need to try everybody else out first, and see if there's some character quietly waiting in the wings for me to just dominate with. So before this video is over, I'm going to try at least somebody that I haven't used before. See how it works out. Unlike Sonic, he don't chuckle. Unless it's 1994. Yeah, how did they forget about that when they wrote the lyrics to that? Anyway. But yeah, that was an all-star move. Want to avoid those. The flying sections are the worst for me. And I really want to restart, but you know what? We're at the end. Let's just finish it out. I know I didn't do good, but there's plenty of room for improvement. I think I need to reinvert the flying controls. It'll be a little easier for me. But the boat sections are really fun, and of course, on wheels is fine. It's me, it's not the game. The game controls perfectly. I just have to get used to it.
A bet failed.
Yeah, don't remind me.
I lost.
It was me, Rio. It wasn't you. I mean, come on. He's driving the Outrun arcade cabinet. How could I say no? It's unfortunate that Knights isn't a racer in this game. I mean, isn't he or isn't it a Sega All-Star?
Character select.
I mean, they've even got Alex Kidd in here. BD Joe. And as much as I would love to see one of the Burning Rangers represented, I understand that they didn't really qualify as All-Star status. They had one game on Saturn, and it wasn't even that big of a hit because it came during the twilight of the system cycle.
Get ready.
That game really needs to be brought back, by the way. So much potential. Just another game that had great gameplay. It was very innovative, different than everything else out there. Really was pushed on the Saturn. It barely could run the game adequately because they were just doing so much at once. On modern hardware, the things that they could do with that same premise, oh, just frothing at the mouth thinking about it. But that's neither here nor there. Yep, off to a much better start here. Getting that boost early on can make all the difference. And Sonic, of course, he's got top speed. And I don't know, just something about the way his car controls. I just feel more at home here. So if I can't find a better alternative, it's going to be him moving forward most of the time. Knowing me, I'll still mix it up here and there. I don't want to use the same person ad infinitum. You know, it gets a little stale sometimes that way. Sometimes. If it's a little like a win, though, I don't know, no guarantees. Occasionally there'll be deviating paths on the tracks too. You can take another route. Sometimes they're not very obvious, which is good design on their part. Or you might see them in passing and be wondering, okay, how do I get there? A lot to uncover for sure. Alright. Still plenty of time to turn this around. This time. So as you can see here, my situation is not utterly hopeless with him. Rio though, I love him, but it's tough. Also, I'm realizing the more you use certain characters, you can level up their abilities and access mods to their vehicle. If you want to improve their acceleration, their handling, or speed, or any of the other stats, you can do that. Another nice feature I wasn't aware of in the beginning. One of the basics is building up your drift, but you got to be careful. If you build up all this drift and then you get hit by an item or you crash, it's all for nothing. So, don't want to save it too long sometimes, especially when you're not as good at the game like me. And by that I mean I'm not good at the game yet. I don't mean I am good. No. Be the opposite of me here, basically. And you'll be just fine. Oh yeah. So a lot of characters in this game. Wreck-It Ralph? Danica Patrick for some versions of it? Yeah, I don't know. Cross-marketing, what you gonna do? Doesn't affect the gameplay, I'm okay. I don't have to use them. Got nothing against Ralph or Danica. I don't watch professional racing. I've never seen his movie. I'm just saying. Not really interested. If you guys can make a Sega All-Stars game, or at least pick out the roster, who would you like to see? I've already mentioned the Burning Rangers, who do have their stage represented here at least. The same for Knights. I definitely would have put Knights in this game for sure. As much as I'd love to see a Stahl, I don't think he qualifies as an All-Star either. I would not put him in here, but honorable mention. I mean, I'm thinking legitimate All-Star. Somebody who has some degree of fame or popularity, or they blazed a trail. They did something that made them memorable to folks beyond just the diehard Sega fans, which again, this is catering to us, so it's okay if they do pander to us too. But I'm thinking somebody from the Panzer Dragoon games, because those games were such a huge series for Sega, and they were so good. Somebody from the Panzer series, maybe Edge from Saga, or Azel even. Oh, that'd be great if they put Azel in here. They had someone from Scouts of Arcadia, which is good. If they do a new version of this game, they should include somebody from Valkyria Chronicles. Segata Sanshiro, I would have put him in here, even though he doesn't... Well, he did have a game, but you know what I mean. I understand why they're not represented, but it's sad that there's no representation from the Shining series, including Shining Force. So many good characters, so many memorable ones at that. Nobody? No Max, no Bowie, no Symbios? You know, nobody? How about from the original Shining in the Darkness even? Anybody? Talk about All-Stars. That's one of their more fondly remembered series, right? But again, Camelot, Sega, they had that falling out. I can understand why they're not represented. It's unfortunate though. Who else? Again, Dragon Force, probably not All-Star status. It's like more of a cult thing, but it would have been great to see somebody from Dragon Force in here. Let's see, who else? Knights again is a given. I don't know how it didn't get included. All-Star games. Shinobi. Joe Musashi. Shinobi is a long-running series. Somebody from Streets of Rage. Some Virtual Fighter representation like in the first game. Let's see, who else? Maybe some non-human characters. They've had so many racing games. Maybe some... Well, no, I can see why they wouldn't do that. The Daytona car. The Hornets. I can see why they didn't put that in here. Though I think it might be an unlockable bonus character. I haven't gotten that far yet. And then we have a track from Afterburner. But that's what I like about this game too. Where they can't represent with the character, they represent with the stage. So I think that's pretty fair. That's a nice trade-off. And some games lean more towards being a good track as opposed to having a character for the roster. This is one of those cases, I think. Clearly. And again, that music, nobody does it like Sega. I mean, I love game music from a variety of sources, but something about that Sega sound, their sound teams, they just, it's hard to put it in words, but there's just a certain spirit in their music that just, it's infectious. It just makes you feel good. You know? And this is just me trying somebody completely different. I had a GameCube, but I kind of missed the boat on the Monkey Ball series. I hear that they were really fun games. I did have the one for Game Boy Advance back in the day, but didn't play the ones for GameCube. Would like to fix that one day. Phantasy Star, that's what I was trying to think of. Some representation from the Phantasy Star series should have been a must. How did they not get Phantasy Star Online or the original series? How did they not have something from Phantasy Star? Stage characters? Really missed opportunity. So really not a lot of love for the RPGs in this game, except for Skies of Arcadia, which is something. I don't want to be too picky here. But really when you think about it, even though a lot of people try to brush off Sega or act like, you know, they're just there to be there, they're not really important, they don't matter, they haven't impacted anything in a good way. IGN. Those guys. But again, they're just all about memes and buzzwords and being in. They're just trying to stay relevant. Spark a little controversy. It's a good way to stay relevant on people's minds and on the tip of people's lips. Just cause a ruckus when it doesn't need to be there. I bet a lot of them are closet fans of Sega and Sonic, but they're not going to come out and admit it. You know how that goes. I can see right through them though. Pretending like they don't know who Big the Cat is or these other characters. Yeah, right, you're right. But anyway, no tangents today. Come on guys, help me out. Let me know who are some characters that I'm missing. What are some good games that were more than one game, unless it was just a really amazing game. See, the problem is Sega's had a lot of good stuff that never left Japan, or it had a limited audience outside of Japan, like the Sakura Wars games. Those, by my understanding, were very popular, very big, but they never left Japan, so if you put them in a game like this, a lot of people aren't going to get the references. Doesn't mean they shouldn't still do it, but that's another issue. And then there are the games for mature audiences like House of the Dead, which had some representation in the original game, but I can understand why they don't focus on them too much. And then you've got games that are kind of forgotten at this point, like Eternal Champions. Who remembers Eternal Champions? Everybody remembers Streets of Rage. What about Eternal Champions? They had a Genesis game, the one on Sega CD, which was fantastic. And then that was it. I think they were going to do a third one at some point, but it got canned. Like a lot of games that were going to be developed for the Saturn. A lot of stuff never made it past the cutting room floor for Saturn, and it's really sad for various reasons. Yeah, that was an interesting time to be a Sega fan if you lived in the US. 2 words, Bernie Stoller. But I'm not going to put it all on him. I'm sure he gets a lot of flack. I'm sure there was more behind the scenes, but all I know is, at least based off the things that he said at one point, it was not a fun time. A lot of games that should have been brought over weren't, for no good reason. Because apparently people don't like to play RPGs. And then there's Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, how about that? The moral is, quality trumps everything. I don't care if it's Katamari Ballerina Dancing. If it's a great game, good presentation, good music, most importantly, excellent gameplay, if it's fun to play, people are going to play it. And that's something that they missed back then. Always focus on that target audience, what they're going to like. Just make stuff that's good, and people will like it. You know, that's just my philosophy.
Event complete.
Don't be so focused on making the big buck that you basically miss an opportunity to make it. So we've been playing this for a little bit. Maybe one more go, maybe 2. Battlezone Blast.
Select an event.
Let's see, what can we do now? Oh, I might have to play this. I love Samba de Amigo. The game, the stages, anything related to it. It's just so bright and colorful. And
Character select.
Mamba de Verano is my jam. Give it a list if you have it, please. We're going to do something really different. One of these guys who I don't use. Okay, I'm not ready for a tank. That's a little bit too hardcore for me. We're not going to do it as the Romans do. And I've already used Rio. Shogun, I'm gonna pass. Why not? Somebody who I never thought I would try. Let's go with the Football Manager. From a game I'll probably never play either. Do those even come out in the US though, honestly? I don't know. Hope he's good.
Get ready.
I do like the footballs on the side there.
2, 1.
Nice touch.
Round 1.
Beat. I forgot he was in the game. Now that is a character who's worthy of being an all-star for sure. Again, an example of not too many games under his belt, but they were unique, they were influential, and they were fun, and people finally remember them. That's what should matter the most. How finally do people remember these games that these all-stars are hailing from? And just that fast, we won the first round. Now, the Football Manager so far controls really well. Seems to have decent speed. Not the fastest, but not slow. But the handling, I think I might have a new favorite. Oh. Despite the sign, I still want to go that way. I feel like I'm playing Twisted Metal, but I'm not. I'm still trying to think of some all-stars who would be worthy. Past, present, and future. Now, there were a lot of games made by Treasure under the Sega umbrella. I don't know if they would qualify, but I would definitely, if they were eligible, I would pick some characters from games like Gunstar Heroes or Guardian Heroes. Things of that nature. Dynamite Heady I'd even consider. Well, okay, maybe not Heady, because he only had the one game, and it's a great game, but I don't know if it would have that instant appeal for a lot of people seeing him. But I love Heady. Anyway, I guess that's plenty. How many characters do you need anyway? They covered most of the basics. There's only a few that I feel really should have been included. Like Knights, I'm really going to stress on that. I don't know how it got left out. And I'm saying it purposefully because Knights is genderless. I don't want to call Knights a he or she. Knights is whatever you need Knights to be. It's part of the fun. Now, I will admit that soccer ball transformation during the boost trick is a bit disorienting. It's a bit distracting. I could do without that.
There are no easy games at this level.
Okay, the Football Manager is not too bad. I didn't win, but I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing now. I'm giving it another go.
3, 2,
1. Done. And we're going to end it after this, honest guys. Thanks if you're still watching. Gonna pass. Gonna end it on a good note. Another reason I like this track is it's a great chance to try out your boost right at the jump by drifting. That long strip at that angle, easy to get that level 3 without even trying. Another reason you want to take the time to trick jump, mix it up, get those boosts. So they're actually encouraging you to use skill, which is always smart. You know, for those who finesse isn't its own reward. Or for those of us who just don't have it. Me, I have my good days and then I have my todays. Let's say. Yeah, that soccer ball, or that football rather, for most of the world. Kind of hard to see where I'm going with that. From lava to cobblestone. These can be Goodyear. I don't think they were made to do that. So this is sort of a one-on-one mode. First time trying it out today, but this is kind of fun. It's not too difficult. Honestly, I shouldn't have failed the first time. But I got a handle on the Football Manager now. I'm really liking him. I'm going to try him out a little bit more. This might be a new main. Exactly my thoughts. I think we got this. But I really need to unlock some other characters too. Vice. Gotta get Vice. And... or maybe you should pronounce it Vise, like wise. Or visor. Vise. Yeah. I wouldn't mind another character from Skies of Arcadia in here, actually. Aka or Fina or Drachma. Anybody, really.
Event complete.
Not bad. Alrighty. So, how did I do? Not too terrible, but not too good either. That's fine. Plenty of room to improve. This will be another game I'd like to stream in the near future, so keep your eyes out for that. If you're so motivated. I think we're done for today, though. This was a nice little sneak preview. Chance to continue to get my feet wet in shallow waters. Not ready for the deep end yet. As you can see, I'm still unlocking stuff. Got a long ways to go. Hopefully the next time I see you here, I'll have a lot more to show. Until then, this has been Long Title is Too Long. Yeah, they need to work on that for the next one. Please let there be a next one. But anyway, I'm out. I'm done. I'm gone. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. And hopefully, I'll see you soon.